Game yesterday as Lamar Jackson and the Ravens hosted the Raiders. Pick it up in the fourth quarter. Ravens up 3. They had been up 10 before, and then Derrick Henry and the Wildcat gives them another 10-point
game over, right?
Game's got to be over against the Raiders.
This is Baltimore.
Not over.
Well, we got vintage Davante Adams yesterday. I mean, that is good coverage, good throw by Gardner Minshew, but great contested catch. Like I said, great contested catch. Davante Adams in the second half was a one-man problem for the Baltimore Ravens defense.
He had 9 catches, 110 yards.
You might want to block him.
Oh, my gosh. He was the best player in football yesterday, amongst other guys.
Ravens had a couple of 3-and-outs. You won't see Derrick Henry in the highlight because they chose not to use him. In the meantime, Jacoby Myers then goes across the middle for a first down, and that would lead to this, a 38-yard field goal from Daniel Carlson, and so the Ravens fall after a 10-point lead in the fourth quarter. This was exactly what their problem was last year. All these games that they lost with the lead. So they go out and they get Derrick Henry. So in consecutive weeks, they bring him in for these fourth quarter carries. In the final 10 minutes of their 2 games, both losses, he has a combined 3 carries. The Ravens went 3-and-out after a 7-point lead, then 3-and-out yesterday on the next drive when the game was tied. On those 6 plays, Henry touched the ball once. And on that once, by the way, he ran right through the defense for like a 5 or 6 yard power gain. Rex, I'm standing because I'm so frustrated with this. This was exactly why they got him.
Yeah, exactly. So why the hell is he only carrying it once in the last 6 plays? And here it is. Watch.
Here's the play.
Such a bad carry that, all right, I'm like, game's over. They're just going to give it to this big Haas, and it's over.
Okay, so
that's why you bring him in, man.
Right.
Raiders got no chance. Oh, we're going to fake it to him. Oh, and go on the perimeter. How about we just ground and pound him straight ahead? Well, clearly, now they get the first in here. Oh, we got a false start. This dude's 290 pounds in the back. I don't care, running a 4.4 or whatever. And you brought him in. It's a great offseason pickup, man, because I'm like, what do the Ravens need to do? Close out games in the fourth quarter. Yep. This guy's the best closer in the business, so give him the football. What? One time, Greeny.
Here's my push. I think they're very predictable now, offensively, because of the addition of Derrick.
They should have been predictable in that situation.
Yeah, I can predict that if they gave him the ball, they'd had a really good chance to run the clock out and win the game.
I could push back and say that defensively, when Derrick Henry's in the game, they know the run's coming. And you can watch it with the Raiders. Look at when Derrick Henry's in the game, 5 guys at the line of scrimmage. They are literally just, watch the flow. They are just teeing off on the run. There's no hesitation. Everybody is just selling out. It's like run blitz after run blitz after run blitz. They're putting 5 guys at the line of scrimmage because more than likely when Derrick's in the game, early downs were going to get run. The contrast is this. When Justice Hill's in the game, it's like 90% pass. So I think there's a little, we talked about it last week, there's a little bit of them figuring out when Derrick's in the game on early downs, how can they counterpunch with not obvious run situations, and the same with Justice Hill. When he's in the game, how can they counterpunch and make sure they run it to take advantage of some soft coverage? I think they've become predictable in that way.
Mark Andrews, the way they've utilized him is just criminal.
Mark Andrews?
Yes. It's
third quarter again, he gets the catch.
It's criminal. Listen, you got 2 really good tight ends. Like, if you got...
All right. You know what's crazy? Let's just stop this right here. They're not even talking about the Raiders. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Okay? They're just going to keep talking about the Ravens. What about what the Raiders have been doing? Are you serious? Let it be known. Let the record be shown that on June 24th, I made a video. Minshew or Aiden O'Connell can win with Las Vegas Raiders and do some serious damage. Okay? That was June 24th, 2024. Okay? And then I made other videos that said Las Vegas Raiders can be trouble with a tough defense and a conservative offense. Then I said Gardner Minshew can have true success with Las Vegas Raiders. So the fact that they're just still not talking about the Raiders and still looking at this through the Ravens lens, come on. Give the Raiders some credit, okay? They were down by 10 points, and they came back and won. Like, come on. Give Give the Raiders their flowers. They deserve it. They deserve the flowers, okay? The Ravens played a tough game against the Chiefs, almost beat the Chiefs, almost at least tied the Chiefs, were at least shown to be within the relative stratosphere of the Chiefs, and yet the Raiders beat the Ravens, and it's just kind of like, these are all the problems that the Ravens have. I just, come on. We could do both things, right? We could talk about both. So I'm going to talk about the Raiders, since no one else is. Listen, Minshew throwing 38 times is too much to me. As I wrote all about Minshew, right? Like he is 38 times and no rush game, no run game. That's just not sustainable, right? That run game was pathetic. There was just nothing going on. If they want to continue to win long term and have this game not be a fluke and actually have these guys talk about the Raiders and not why the teams that lost to and not talk more about the teams that lose to the Raiders as why, that's what needs to happen. But this is what I was saying. Minshew is better than many people think. He can make the easy plays and he can make the hard plays, which is not a common thing in the NFL. Look at Anthony Richardson. He cannot make the easy plays. You got to make the easy plays. And then it's like, okay, now how hard can you get, how much can you get the hard plays? How often can you get the hard plays? Is it too inconsistent? Is it more consistent, but the ceiling is a little bit lower? That's what you kind of have to figure out. But getting the easy plays is something that not all quarterbacks can do, quite frankly. And that's why they end up finding their way out of the league. Minshew can get the easy plays and the hard plays. That's what makes him a higher level player in the a higher lower level player. I'm not going to act like Minshew's just like top 10 quarterback right here, right? Top 5 quarterback, but he's just better than people think. The fact that they were able to contain Lamar is really good, right? They contained him to only 45 rush yards, 21 for 34, touchdown, interception, and 2 sacks. That's a pretty good stat line against Lamar, right? Lamar, we know, is like a literal video game character and can just go off at any moment. And so it's always difficult against Lamar. It's just always going to be difficult to contain Lamar. And the fact that the Raiders were able to, I think goes a long way, quite frankly. I think they contained Lamar and the Ravens better than the Chiefs contained Lamar and the Ravens. I think the door was wide open for the Ravens to win that game and against the Chiefs, and they did not. It was more mistakes on the Ravens. I think the Raiders won this game without a doubt. Of course, there was mistakes on both sides. Of course, you can point to some tape when Lamar, blew a chance, missed someone, did whatever, right? Like, that's every game. But when you watch the game, I try to figure out, was this team which team more won the game versus which team more lost the game? And to me, this game right here, the Raiders won this game. If you want to call out play calling or whatever, fine. I don't care. I'm not going to talk about that right now. But I lean towards saying that the Raiders won this game. 5 sacks on Gardner Minshew, though, is too much, right? That definitely has to be cleaned up. 5 sacks is a lot. That's a lot. You're going to be asking a lot of Minshew to be able to survive that, right? 5 sacks, 43 yards, and the fumble. But I love the passing game. I really, really do. I do think it was a little too passing centric. Like I said, 38 times is a lot. They don't even ask Mahomes to drop back that much. 7 different pass catchers, though, which I love, though. He spreads the ball around. Everyone's involved. Obviously, you're still going to rely on Devontae, but everyone feels involved. He doesn't feel panicked. Sometimes when you see these quarterbacks who are uncomfortable, it's like they can only really rely on like 1 or 2 receivers, right? And it's like if that's not there, then there's kind of this panic. And Gardner Minshew's been around. He's thrown to so many different people and so many different offenses over the years. He's just comfortable with everyone. He knows what it's like to not be involved in an offense himself, right? Like literally not being a not being a starter. And I think when you have some of that experience, you understand how important it is to make other people feel involved in the game plan, feel connected to the game, because it's a really tough feeling when your team wins or loses for that matter, and you're not part of the game. You've maybe got 1 target, 1 catch for 4 yards, and you're just like, even if your team wins by like 20, you're like, yeah, you feel good. You're trying to play the team game. You're trying to be supportive, but you still don't really feel like you did anything, right? Then the coaches need to kind of like talk you up and be like, you played great. You did this, you did that, blah, 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 blah. We're all one. It's not about the individual. Like, there's more mental gymnastics that needs to take place, because you do start to feel like, do I really do anything? Am I really part of this offense? Did I really help this team in any measurable way? Could anyone else have done my job? And like I said, considering Gardner Minshew's career in the NFL, I'm very positive he knows that very intimately. Something that these high-level players like the Mahomeses of the world don't understand. They just don't, because they're too great, too successful for too long period of a time from the jump, that they just don't, or they've never really intimately touched that experience. And I think Gardner Minshew is someone who has, and so he brings that to the table, and to me it kind of shows. So yeah, this is a big win. This should give them a lot of momentum. Don't go booking your Super Bowl tickets just yet, right? They do have a lot more work to do. I would, like I said, they got to get this run game going. I want to see them continue to play good defense. Lamar is such a specific style offense that to me it's always hard to gauge your defense when you play these type of level of hyper mobile quarterbacks, because that's just not traditionally who you're going to face, right? We saw what they looked like against the Chargers, and it was pretty decent, but they just could not put up points. So the Chargers are a good team this year as well. The Chargers should get a couple wins. They should be able to go 2-0 against the Broncos right now. I'm not sure when exactly they play the Broncos. Maybe Bo Nix kind of gets things going, which I think he will to a degree, but like, the Raiders are the better team right now. They have a harder defense. They should have a more cohesive offense with a more experienced quarterback. That should be 2 wins right there. You can maybe split with the Chargers and maybe split with the Chiefs. You beat the Chiefs before, and the Chiefs feel beatable. Like, that's already a handful of wins right there. And again, I don't have the schedule right in front of me, but this is a team that could be fighting for a playoff spot. I don't want to like get too ahead of myself based off of one win and be like, they're winning it all. Let's go. But to me, this is a category. I have this team in a category of like, you don't want to face them. I don't know who they are, but you don't want to face them. Like, if you were in the playoffs against the Raiders, you're not like, oh yeah, good, it's the Raiders. It's no, man. They play hard defense. They got a quarterback who can go off 30 for 38, 276 yards and a touchdown. I mean, that's pretty good. Imagine if you gave him a little bit more time, and with zero run game. I mean, it's hard to win in the NFL when you can't run the ball. It's hard. It's hard. So the fact that they were able to come away with this win, to me, is big time. Exciting if you're a Raiders fan. Again, I have no idea what this means for the Raiders. Big picture, I have no idea what their ceiling is. I try not to predict their ceilings unless I'm really confident in it. But I am confident that they will be competitive this season. How that falls for them, we will find out. But those are just my thoughts. I would absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think? Do you think this is a big win for the Raiders? Do you think it was more about the Ravens losing this game? Did the Raiders get lucky? Or is this just the beginning of a great run for the Raiders? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment. It's whether you agree with me or disagree with me. Either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. But please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I would absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much, and see you next time.